Duelist again, bringing you the Chaos March action. We are on map 2 on the super hot map Phlegton. Hewitt Prime for Proxima, Pabst and Warhammer Charlie, Chimera D for Yeti, Stubby and a Solitaire Gamma. Opposing them, the Wolverines Rebirth team of Harasser A, Ares D, Awesome E, and Avatar A. Of Burner, Bob, Gnome King, and their special guest, KOS Invictus. We had a pretty close match in the last battle. I was the drop commander for the team with Invictus and Papscan and Yeti, and I made a critical error that I didn't rush us early, and another error that I let our heavy mech get exposed. If it wouldn't have been for that second mistake, it's very likely we would have came away with the victory. We're going to try and replicate that situation. I'm sitting this out, as always, I'm the supervisor. The guy that sits back and yells at everybody when a rule's broken and lets them know how much time is and all those good things. This map is hot and hard to see any long distance because of the blowing clouds. It's 110 degrees centigrade, so things heat up fast, so that's why we put poor Stubby here in Solitaire G, arguably with the worst mech in the game. You get hit on one of your sides, and one of your critical sections gets completely destroyed. But it runs cool, and it's a fast, cheap scout mech. Both teams are starting at 39:00. Match will go until somebody's all dead, or there's 9 minutes left. This is a low threat value drop, so we have a lot of arguably crap assets in the field, at least as rated by a bunch of peers of Living Legends players. This is an interesting list. He went completely for range, and oh wow, an awesome on this map. Oh, and it's the PPC awesome as well. Holy crap. Let me confirm this. I am in shock and awe. The awesome Echo, 2 Light Gauss, 2 ER-PPCs, and then they have a UX5, Pulse Laser, LRM-20, LRMs, and ER-PPC. So, they're going to outrange, and the best chance that their opponent is going to have is simply to get right up in their face and plink, 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 plink. They need to get close so that the LRMs are completely useless. The only range they have to meet this range, this amount of range, is the ELRMs you see firing off. Although they do have an Arrow 4, and if that hits, I'm going to be impressed. Proxima, hell of a pilot in that, but firing off an Arrow 4 missile on a 110-degree map is just insanity. Invictus probably drop commanding this one for Burner and telling his guys get the hell in there and get in close. So we see SJ Smoke Jaguar, Papscan, WR Stubleborn, who's playing in for with that team for balance. Smoke Jaguar Proxima, Mercenary Yeti. Proxima in the tank with no name on top, and these missiles are really going to hurt. They only have a single lambs, and they're going to either decide to try to stay in range themselves, or they have this base that they can fall into and force a close range engagement. The two teams are getting very close to each other now, and SJ Papscan is in a very dangerous position right now. He's trying to get away. Surprised you're sticking with the Arrow 4 missiles, Proxima. I understand why, but if I was in that thing, keep in mind I'm a much less skilled pilot than he is. I would be so scared to death the heat coming from that. Papscan is trying to get away, but now he's setting up a bit of range. Stubby's trying to get into support, but Papscan's probably going to have to lay down his life here because he's in a decent and respectable mech, but 3-on-1, ouch. Getting off a couple of hits, and oh, I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to keep them from flanking in one direction, taking 2 ER-PPCs. He's taken some good damage. He's dealt some good damage, so he could be okay. Stubbleborn moving in. They continue to try and use the Arrow 4 missile. They don't have any anti-missile systems in the other team. So any of those arrows that get in will definitely do them good. They're trying to keep them in that hole now. Moving in Stubby and Pabst with their more moderate range weapons, and keeping Yeti and Proxima back on the outside edge. Gnome King now moving in with his LRM Harasser, attempting to get some damage on Yeti. So we've got a little bit of a battle there as Invictus has his team moving back to reposition. Perhaps those Arrow 4 missiles have taken their toll against his Atlas type vehicle in his Awesome. And Proxima realizing what Gnome's doing, so they're focusing on him and making him move back out to range. He's going to line up and try and get some hits off of here. Stubby's going to take an LRM 20, and this is going to hurt really badly if he gets a lock. You can see that they're hunkering down in that hole, kind of a World War I thing right now with the foxholes as they're trying to get away. So LRMs are likely going to hit. Yep. Decent amount of armor on the Hewitt, though. He should be okay. Stubby in a very good position to take on Gnome King, as Gnome King's weapons prevent him from being effective at all, doing any damage under 180 meters. Invictus working with Bob and Burner to determine their moment to move up and fire, but frankly at this point it looks like they may be using Gnome King's Harasser to simply try and distract them, maybe even act as a sacrificial decoy. Now trying to figure out Proxima's game and his and Pabst and Yeti's position. Two teams playing extremely defensively right now, likely having done a good amount of damage. Pabst heavily damaged, Invictus heavily damaged, most likely. And so they're sitting back and seeing Burner in an Ares tank is very interesting. Burner tries to utilize, give his teammates the heavier assets, and he likes to play in lighter or medium stuff, but it's still a bit surprising to see him in a tank, a very rare occasion. But sometimes that's the way the drop list works. Your fleet munitions officer doesn't give you much to work with, so you take what you can get, and the Ares, a very respectable light tank at 40 tons. Good speed, respectable armor. Pretty good weapons loadout. You don't see it terribly often in the game as much as you'd think. I mean, you certainly see it in terrain control and in the cast march, but Gnome trying to get some locks on, but you can see the terrain is very bumpy. We've either had a death or a disconnect, which would be Yeti's Chimera's either been destroyed or he's had a disconnect, and if it gets destroyed, he will be out of the game. So it's either 3-on-4 right. It's 3-on-4 right now. It's either going to stay that way or he may eventually get back. It's always hard to tell. Certainly possible that those LRMs did him in, and he's simply in spectator mode now. Pabst trying to spread out a bit. His Lamb's protecting him partially, but he's still going to take some hits, trying to push out and take on Gnome. He's taking PPC hits from Invictus, though, so he's going to have to back off a bit. If they did, in fact, lose the Chimera, it depends on how much damage they did to their opponents, because if that Awesome is still in excellent shape and Pabst is beat up, then they might not have the firepower here. Stubby doing an excellent job of trying to keep Gnome down. You can see that the Chimera is still alive, so they're simply buying time. The rules do state that if they wanted to, they could come in and destroy that Chimera, and Yeti would be out of the game. Burner and Invictus usually like to be, if you will, gentlemanly about it, and not fire on that asset, but they'll certainly fire on the other assets. Yeti now reconnected, but he has a very long ways to go back to his mech, and if it despawns, he additionally will be out. So let's follow him a bit. As he attempts to get back, he's allowed to build a harasser, and then bring it back close to his asset. And it's understood that the harasser is not to fire on anything, but it can be fired upon if a player is killed on their way back to their asset by any means. Then they are also dead. So as you can see, it is very perilous when you have a disconnect, even with the rules trying to protect you to get back into the fight. Once there is first contact, you don't have any more holds, so there's no more timeouts. And we'll just sit here and follow Yeti as he tries to get back into position. He's got a ways to go, and sometimes we do limit people to going back on foot. It takes a while to get back there, but if they're going to get critical information or run into the field of battle, sometimes they can't bring the asset. Stubby has lost an arm. Fine without that arm, but unfortunately it looks like he's lost his UAC-10 cannon, which if he has, he's a running decoy at this point. So that mech's one good asset is its UAC-10 cannon. Might still be intact. So Yeti's now getting close to where his asset is. He hopes to find his positioning. At this point, you think that Invictus and the rest of his team are going to sit there and most likely decide to rush at a certain point, because they've been able to do some significant damage, and that Hewitt's armor is okay, but for an 85-ton asset, it is paper-thin armor, and it'll be able to defend itself decently against the lights and the mediums. But versus that assault mech, it won't be doing much. As we see Proxima moving back to maximum range, trying to see if he can get off some more of those Arrow 4 cruise missile hits. With Gnome King setting up to try and get some locks, while Burner and Bob and Invictus move in and attempt to take down Stewie and Pabst. Excuse me, Yeti. And they're going to now rush, and they're making their movement known. They're just waiting for everything to get in. Bob and Burner will move up first, with Invictus pulling back, and Yeti's about to take a heavy beating. He attempts to get back to cover. Proxima now getting an opportunity to get Arrow 4 missiles away. Nasty hit on Gnome King. Gnome King probably can only take one more of those before he will go down. Let's pull back and see the action as we see Stubby about to go down to Invictus. Valiant job in a crap mech. He stayed alive. He did scouting. He was able to get some good damage in. Stubby Born did a very nice. Stubby did a excellent job there. And now Yeti's going to be the next target. Paps is going to try to move up, but he has to be careful. And now the match is all but over. Paps will attempt to go in and maximize the damage to the Atlas as its most threat, but Paps should be down in about 10 seconds. And Proxima simply won't have enough firepower to take down any assets, and this will be the second victory in a row for the Wolverines Rebirth-led team, representing the attacking faction on planet Mars. They will need only one more map victory to be successful. We might see a bit of a mix-up of the teams if we play a little further today, but this could very well be it. And just in case it is, I want to say thank you to the viewing audience at home. Hope that you enjoyed the fight as we see Proxima attempt to take some names down before he exits the arena. He's going to take LRMs and hits. He's going to go down. He's going to fire off one final Arrow 4 missile. Bob's going to simply dodge that, and if that's it for this evening, we'll see you next time on the Cast March. Thank you to all those who played and all those watching at home. Again, TC Mars, one victory away from falling into Wolverine's Rebirth hands. Everybody have a good evening.